Hey there YouTube, welcome to Draco Ray Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about Streamlabs OBS best settings. I'm going to help you get that clarity and performance you're looking for no matter what. As usual, no BS, no fluff. Here we go. Alright, here we are inside my Streamlabs. I'm going to go ahead and go down. I'm going to need to look off to the left here, sorry about that, but I'm going to go ahead and go down here to the left gear icon. I'm going to click that, alright? And then what we're going to do is we're going to just go through all my settings. And if you're looking for that performance and that clarity, I'm going to help you out. Maybe you haven't done this for the first time, maybe you're running default settings, but these definitely helped me out. So for general, there's not much, there's different settings here, but nothing that we really need to go over. Just some output settings that are default. Multi-streaming, if you're not multi-streaming to multiple platforms, which you probably shouldn't anyway, because you're going to have to end up partnering with one of them eventually. Don't bother with the multi-streaming, honestly, is my opinion. But make sure all your stuff is set up and linked. After you get it all set up, go ahead and go to your output mode. What is most important here, and I'm utilizing my settings right now, so they're grayed out, so I can't change them, but depending on if you have a dual PC setup or a single PC setup is going to depend on the encoder you want to use. So the software to X264 encoder uses the CPU, and then there's an EVGA encoder, and that uses your Nvidia GPU encoder. ATI has some as well, the Radeon cards. So if you're not running your game off of a single PC, if you're single PC streaming, most people will go EVGA because it does have a separate hardware that shouldn't affect your GPU / video game performance, but I have seen it sometimes, and I'm not sure why it does that. But you probably want to go EVGA single PC, and you probably, if you got a good CPU, want to go with the but it doesn't have like a good graphics card in it because it's in your gaming rig, obviously. So if you're dual PC stream, you probably want to go with the software X264. I am dual PC streaming, so I do have my software X264 encoder running, and my awesome GPU in my gaming rig, my separate PC. So those are my tips on the encoder. The rate control is CBR. Bitrate, depending on the platform you're streaming on, I will say Twitch has the best ingestion servers. You can run pretty much like 2500 or 3000 bitrate, and it'll look great. It'll be fine. It'll be like 720, 1080. Facebook and YouTube, on the other hand, Facebook is the next one in line, so you definitely want to be running probably like a 5000 or more and get a nice crisp clear 1080p. For some reason still I don't think Facebook has the greatest ingestion servers, and YouTube is probably the worst, which I stream on mainly now, and we're looking at like an 8 to 10,000 bit rate to get good solid like 60 fps 1080p, so it looks real nice and crisp and clear. But you can get great clarity with low bit rate on Twitch, and then you need to up that bit rate for YouTube and Facebook platforms. We're gonna go keyframe interval 2. If you're running 60 frames a second, I wouldn't recommend going higher than 2. If you're running 30 frames, you can probably go 4, but 2 is great. 2 is good. And CPU preset is on very fast. Now we're going to go over to the audio settings. This is all pretty much what I'm running. 44 1 kilohertz stereo channel. Nothing kind of crazy, mostly default. Let's jump over to video. So I am running the canvas base resolution. Now, you could be running a higher resolution here, but the setting below, you could be outputting a different resolution, that actually a format for what the viewers are actually seeing. And that's the difference between your canvas and your scaled resolution. So if I was playing in 1440p but pushing out a 1080p stream, that's possible. You can see it very clearly and everything, but you're pushing it out in 1080p, etc. So what I actually do, what some of my tips and tricks are, if you don't have a good system, your system's struggling a little bit, your pipeline is struggling a little bit on your bandwidth for your internet provider, you can run a 1920 1080 game, right? Push it out in 720p, and then you can do 32 sampling sharpening. My system's good enough that I can run a 1080 with 32 sharpening, and it comes out really, really good, really crisp, really sharp looking. And this is the downscale filtering is really the secret, as well as making sure these settings are right to make sure you get a nice, crisp, clear picture output to the viewers. Let's go through some hotkey settings. The save replay button is huge. You definitely want to set up a save replay button, a replay buffer even, as well as recording your streams and things like that. You can definitely set those up. You have some start recording, stop recording, save. The shortcut keys can really help you out. You can also set some up with regular OBS on a stream deck and have some quick click buttons to save some epic moments, clips, things like that. So make sure you're checking that out and setting up some of these settings, because they can definitely make a difference. Let's go through the process priority. So definitely want to have it on high or more, especially because this is one of the main apps that your system is running. So if you're on a single PC, you can leave it high. Make sure your game is running as priority, and that way they're getting the resources they need to actually run smoothly and not lag or stutter. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to go through in the output settings is the recording tab. So make sure it's in your recording format you like. I do .mp4. Make sure your path is set up to where it's going to go send and save, and you can locate them later. And as for the replay buffer, I do 180 seconds, which is like 3 minutes, and that's usually really, really good for like a clip or reel, and it gives me enough of the footage to make some nice shorts out of it or do something like that. And so what you want to do is kind of jumping back over to the hotkeys, make sure you have those hotkeys set up, or you can actually just, there's a button actually down here that I'm hiding, but there's actually buttons right there that you can click, and there's their recording and the replay buffer buttons, and you can click those as well as using your hotkey shortcuts. If you don't have a Stream Deck, you can set up some remote control items. If you have any type of virtual cams, game, all these things, you can get into those and really get into some advanced settings. This is what I'm running, and I have great success. I'm Draco Ray here to help the gaming community, and I'll see you next time.